The Yuba County Five Ordinary Lives, Extraordinary Fate. February 24, 1975, a day like any other in Yuba County, California. But for five young men, this day would mark the beginning of a haunting mystery. Jack Madruga, Ted Wire, Bill Sterling, Jack Hewitt, and Gary Mathias. These were the Yuba County Five. They were young, with their lives ahead of them. Friends and family knew them as kind, gentle souls. None could have predicted the chilling fate that awaited them. Their disappearance would leave a void, a scar on their community. The mystery of what happened to them endures, a chilling reminder of life's fragility. A fateful trip, vanishing into thin air. The five friends embarked on a seemingly ordinary trip to a basketball game in Sacramento. They were excited, chatting animatedly about the game, their favorite players, and the fun they anticipated. The car was filled with laughter and the hum of the engine as they drove through the city, the streetlights casting a warm glow on their faces. It was a Friday night, a time for camaraderie and shared passion. The friends had been looking forward to this night for weeks, planning every detail meticulously. They had their tickets ready, their favorite team jerseys on, and a playlist of their favorite songs to keep them entertained on the drive. Excitement filled the air as they piled into their turquoise blue Mercury Montego. The car, a symbol of their youthful freedom, was polished and ready for the journey. They joked about who would be the designated driver on the way back, each one eager to take the wheel of their beloved vehicle. They were young, full of life, and ready for a night out. The road ahead seemed clear, both literally and metaphorically. They had no reason to suspect that anything could go wrong. Their spirits were high and the night was theirs to conquer. They never reached their destination. As the hours passed, their absence became more noticeable. The game started without them, and their seats remained empty. The friends who were supposed to meet them at the game began to worry, calling and texting but receiving no response. Their families grew worried when they didn't return home. Calls to their phones went unanswered, and their social media accounts showed no recent activity. The initial concern turned into panic as the night wore on, and there was still no sign of the five friends. Concern turned to fear as hours turned into days. The police were notified and a search was launched. Flyers with their pictures were distributed, and search parties combed the area looking for any clue that might lead to their whereabouts. The community rallied together hoping for a miracle. The five friends vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Their car was found abandoned on a remote road, with no signs of struggle or foul play. Personal items were scattered around, but there was no indication of where they might have gone or what had happened to them. Their disappearance sent shockwaves through Yuba County, a stark reminder that even the ordinary can take a sinister turn. The small town, usually quiet and peaceful, was now gripped by fear and uncertainty. Vigils were held and the local news covered the story extensively, but as days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. The mystery of their vanishing remains unsolved, a haunting tale of a night that started with so much promise but ended in inexplicable tragedy. The abandoned vehicle, a glimmer of hope, dims. Days later, a glimmer of hope emerged from the dense woods of Plumas National Forest. The forest, known for its dense canopy and serene beauty, had become the center of a mystery that gripped the community. The search teams, weary but determined, combed through the thick underbrush, their spirits lifted by the possibility of a breakthrough. Their car, the turquoise blue Mercury, was found abandoned on a remote logging road. This discovery was both a relief and a puzzle. The car, a symbol of their journey, now stood as a silent witness to their fate. It was parked neatly, almost as if someone had carefully chosen the spot, away from the main roads and hidden from casual passers-by. The discovery sparked a surge of hope, a belief that the five friends might still be alive. The search party, fueled by this newfound hope, intensified their efforts. Volunteers from nearby towns joined in, their faces a mix of determination and concern. The forest echoed with their calls, each shout a plea for a sign, any sign of the missing friends. But the car held its own unsettling secrets. The interior, once a place of laughter and camaraderie, now felt eerie and abandoned. The seats were slightly worn, hinting at the long journey the friends had undertaken. The dashboard, covered in a thin layer of dust, seemed to whisper tales of the past days. Inside, investigators found traces of food, a single sleeping bag, and personal belongings. These items painted a picture of a group that had prepared for a trip, but not for the ordeal they seemed to have faced. The food wrappers suggested they had eaten recently, and the sleeping bag indicated they had planned to rest. Yet there was an air of abruptness, as if they had left in a hurry. Strangely, the car keys were missing, and the engine was in working order. This detail baffled the investigators. Why would they leave the car, especially when it was functional? The absence of the keys suggested a deliberate act, but by whom and for what reason remained a mystery. Theories began to form, each more perplexing than the last. It was as if the car had been deliberately parked, its occupants vanishing into the vast wilderness. The surrounding area showed no signs of struggle or distress. It was as if they had simply walked away, leaving behind their only means of transportation. The forest, with its towering trees and dense foliage, seemed to swallow any clues, adding to the enigma. The mystery deepened, casting a long shadow over the search efforts. As days turned into nights, the forest grew darker, both literally and metaphorically. The searchers, though hopeful, couldn't shake off the growing sense of dread. Each passing hour without a breakthrough weighed heavily on their hearts. The once bright glimmer of hope began to dim, replaced by an unsettling uncertainty. The community, while supportive, started to fear the worst. The forest, once a place of beauty, now felt like a labyrinth of unanswered questions and hidden truths. Section 4. Grim Discoveries. Unraveling a chilling puzzle. Weeks turned into months, hope fading with each passing day. Then, a grim discovery shattered the fragile optimism. The body of Ted Wire was found in August, 8 miles from the abandoned car. He was lying inside a sleeping bag, a chilling echo of the one found in the car. His death was a tragic blow, confirming the worst fears of the families. The discovery only deepened the mystery. What had happened to Ted, and where were the other 4? The search continued, a desperate race against time in the unforgiving wilderness. Section 5. Lost and Disoriented. The Perplexing Final Days. This chapter delves into the mysterious and tragic final days of Jack Madruga, Jack Hewitt, and Bill Sterling. Their journey into the wilderness remains one of the most perplexing and haunting tales of survival and loss. Over the next year, the bodies of Jack Madruga, Jack Hewitt, and Bill Sterling were found. The search and rescue teams combed through the dense forest, facing numerous challenges as they tried to piece together the events that led to the men's demise. Each discovery was a somber reminder of the harsh realities of nature and the fragility of human life. Each discovery added a piece to the puzzle, but the bigger picture remained elusive. Investigators and family members were left with more questions than answers. How did these men, who were known to be close friends, end up so far from their intended destination? What drove them deeper into the wilderness, and why did they not turn back when they had the chance? They were found at varying distances from the car, scattered across the rugged terrain. The car itself was abandoned in a location that made little sense given their planned route. The rugged landscape posed significant challenges, with steep inclines, dense underbrush, and treacherous footing. It was clear that the men had faced a grueling ordeal as they tried to navigate the unforgiving terrain. Their remains told a story of confusion, disorientation, and a desperate struggle for survival. Personal items found near the bodies, such as wallets, watches, and clothing, provided some clues but also deepened the mystery. The state of their remains suggested that they had been exposed to the elements for an extended period, enduring harsh weather conditions and possibly even wildlife encounters. They were found with little to no clothing, despite the freezing temperatures. This baffling detail led to various theories, including the possibility of paradoxical undressing, a phenomenon where hypothermia victims remove their clothing due to a false sensation of overheating. The lack of proper attire in such cold conditions highlighted the dire circumstances they faced and their deteriorating mental and physical states. Some had eaten food scavenged from a nearby ranger station, suggesting they were lost and desperate. The discovery of scavenged food items indicated that they had come across the ranger station at some point, but for reasons unknown, they did not stay there. Handwritten notes found in the area hinted at their attempts to communicate or leave messages, but the content of these notes remained cryptic and open to interpretation. Their deaths were a tragic testament to the unforgiving nature of the wilderness. The forest, with its dark and ominous presence, became a silent witness to their final days. Memorial crosses and markers now stand in the remote wilderness, serving as poignant reminders of the lives lost and the enduring mystery that surrounds their fate. The setting sun over the forest casts a somber glow, symbolizing the end of their journey and the unanswered questions that linger.